Summer 2025 with the Lovelocks of Sunninghill. Rough cut photo trails, and there may be some video cuts. Yes, this is where we live at 22 Armitage Court in Sunninghill. Yes, so-called Robin's Corner, where GPS was tested from the late 1980s. And yes, warning signs about fierce guard cats. And here's Snoopy's robot boat, and practically nothing done on that. It's been left there on test. Problems to be sorted on it before it makes another attempt on the Atlantic. Yeah, dustbins need to be put away. Yeah, June's car. Promotion of the website gpss.co.uk. that was a business decades ago, but is now hobbies like the robot boat and charitable causes. Yes, that's a guard cat just ducking under the camper. Yes, let's point out the camper. Used for various trips, including taking Snoopy's robot boat down to the coast, and that's normally pointed out, battle damage. June said Robin did it. Robin said the wall did it, but the wall is okay. About to go into the house. I've left the door open there and make it easier. Yeah, there's cameras everywhere, and there's warning signs. And for example, closed circuit TV, hidden TV cameras inside and outside this house, sound and videos monitored in local houses and elsewhere. I must emphasise, these are just jokes, of course. No trespassing. Violators will be shot. Survivors will be shot again. There's one example of a camera. But in fact, it's not just cameras you have to worry about. Yes, guard cats can be pretty dangerous. Can't you, Snoopy? Did I say Snoopy? Freudian slip. That's Toady. Yes, Toady. And yes, this is my study through there. Do not disturb. I'm disturbed enough already. But this sign is probably one of the most important. Home of mad ex-NATO scientist Robin Lovelock. Beware of web cameras and water squirters. Loaded with water, paint, acid, DNA tracer or nerve agent. Robin would not be mad enough to test these. Or would he? Right. Are we gonna, is it safe to go in now, Toady? Yeah, that's the flatulent fairy that was going to go up on a tree, one of those trees last Christmas, wasn't ready for it. Lots of other stuff here. So let's see if we dare go into the house. You coming in with me, Toady? It's very windy today. Come on in. Right, coming into the house, and yeah, the kitchen's through there, and the games room, which hasn't been tidied up, and that's on the list to be done for years. Into the lounge, that's not too bad. Yeah, well, Robin relaxes in front of the closed circuit TV. Might have occasionally doze off to sleep. And right, what's actually changed most during the summer is the good work in the garden. The back of the garden is better than it's ever been. This is still in a bit of a mess, which is the area near the top pond, with various projects on the go, mostly relating to little weeing boys. And that one was working a little while ago, but needs to be arranged that he doesn't spill stuff, but that appears on the photo trails. Yes, cat fort, or pond fort number 1, pond fort number 2. So this hasn't changed a lot since the last photo trail, but what has changed is the back of the garden. And of course these videos are as much for guys who might help with property maintenance, handymen, lots of common sense. There's that's fallen down. That was my bodge to stop this. hitting you, but of course it's very windy today. Right, we're going to walk down the garden where most of the work has been done. That's the telescope that I built as a boy, or did the optics for. That's some finocchi, wild fennel from Sicily. Right, we're coming down the steps. So now this is stuff which has been done during the summer and, well, late summer. So, for example, a palm tree, that making it a bit easier for older people like me to get up and down the steps. There's the sundial and a bit of a path around the back of the pond. Started to do a bit clearing of that. That's the second pond, and of course all the water's supposed to come off the roof and down into the first pond and then down the stream. Still work needed around there. I might as well show it. So that's where electrics are driving various things like pumps. Yes, now we're getting to, that was done very recently in the last couple of days, starting to clear this, still not finished, but we're coming round to where changes have been made for the better. So let's take this path down. So past the Gunner Manticata. Hope you can hear me despite the wind. A few tools have been knocked over by the wind there, that's there. So we come down here, here's Toady the guard cat. He likes to hang out down here. It's usually after, hello Toady, after things like, yes, that's where I tend to like to sit. And it is getting quite pleasant to sit down here, see the birds come for the food on the bird feeders. And in fact there are 5 bird feeders down here, and most of this food goes within the course of a day. There's another one. There's a mosquito killer, and yeah, there may be 1 or 2 there. That needs to be tuned a bit. There's another. That was practically empty, you see. The bird feeder. There's another bird feeder. And there's another. And there's the stream when you're filling it, as I have been, or am doing. Eventually goes into the bog garden, and we've got interesting plants around here. Believe it or not, that is cannabis. But I hasten to add that is industrial cannabis or hemp. And there's another one there. Good topics of conversation. Oh, right, hello Toady. Looks like bulbs. Beer, believe it or not, that beer is not for consumption by humans. It's to keep the slugs off June's plants. You see, they tend to get eaten. So we tend to put that beer in the containers. So that pond number 3, or reservoir for the bog garden, is filling up at the moment. Now we're coming around here. This is all work done recently. Yeah, sunflowers. Because we've opened up this canopy here a bit by cutting back, there's still more work to be done there, but it means more light gets in, including sunlight. That's just temporary. Dumping the tools there. We put in bulbs along the back here and here. We obvious things like bluebells and things, and yes, there are PIR lights and other lights everywhere. And this box was put in order to have somewhere to keep the bird feed, which is a mixture of things like peanuts and other things. Oh, he decided to follow me around. Yeah. And so we're working around here. So there's a spare water butt and a lot of tidying up done. And this, we're coming around now. You would have seen in other photo trails, but again, a recent thing was to make these compost heaps higher, because there's so much stuff we've been getting rid of. So this is recent work. So we've got more space to put the compost. Of course, all the details in the photo trails, and of course that one as well, and that one, and then the last one was there. So I think that's about it. So it's a very pleasant place to hang out. Of course, a lot of tidying up to be done, and it's all a matter of doing the things while you can. Coming up here, yes, there's a water butt there. So the pond number 2 overflows and goes into that water butt, and so on. And only yesterday, I think it was, oh yeah, some fishes in there. So a lot of clearing up to be done. So right now, that's a bit of filling up for testing. There's the stream. Might as well complete the trail. So again, there's a bug palace for various insects. Tribute to one of our cats, Gingy, or Fartalot as he was known. Yeah, yet another cat fort. And this area is important, related to work in the garden. Not so much the lab, that's the laboratory, but yeah, junk here, but where tools are to be kept. And we're starting to put tools in the right place, but the main thing is we've created the space for the tools. And this is the so-called workshop area, including a vise and various other things. So it makes it much easier for people to find what they're looking for. And while we're on the subject of where things are kept, then around the other side of the summer house, which I call the laboratory. Yes, hello Toadie, what are you looking for now? There's tend to be more gardening stuff, but there's a lot of overlap. So you're looking for a lawnmower, yes, lawnmower there, strimmer there. Doing the back lawn here, I haven't done it for, well, months now, but it's a very quick job. Yeah, the whole job is half an hour, including getting the tools out, doing it, and putting the tools back in the right place. Right, may as well get a glance at the laboratory. A lot of tidying up needed. And yes, robot boat junk, computers, yes, a fridge, there's water in there at the moment, yes, another camera, and the robot boat stuff, which is paused at the moment. Yes, a few other odds and ends here, become topical when we get around to Halloween soon. So yes, lots of work to do there, mostly putting things in the right place. So back up round the garden, there's the sundial. Of course, June's rose means it's affected, but it basically works reasonably well. And that was very recent, putting in that palm tree. So this is June's area around here, and it's a matter of do what we can when we have the chance. So this is June's greenhouse. Yeah, PII lights everywhere. Yes, that's not too bad, and she keeps stuff in there. Yes, coming around the back of the house. Sorry about the politically incorrect water butt decoration. There's how the cat gets in, one of the routes. And this is where materials are kept. Yeah, water tap. Oh, here's another cat. It's Toadie again, running through. So materials tend to be kept here. Got to be careful you don't trip over it. Yeah, now he's going up on top of the dustbins. Yes. He likes to hang out in lots of places, including that cat fort, which needs to be repaired at the top. Right, that's a very long photo trail. Did I say photo trail? No, very long introduction video. So I think what we'll do is go back in and, if I can, and run into what will be very rough material, but especially the start of it, because I didn't have a little handheld camera, so I was having to shoot it on this smartphone, and Still learning how to do it, and of course you find things like the software updates and it doesn't behave like you thought. So back out, there's me moaning, and we're going to run into that material very soon. You'll be glad to know. So let's go into those photo trails about now. Monday the 12th of May 2025. Yes, looks like the photo I've chosen there is the one coming away with fishes for the top pond from Maidenhead Aquatics over at Oak Tree. And yeah, 20 past 12, you know, and there's a pussycat coming in, so it's in the afternoon the first picture's taken, and there's Samantha having a look at the pond. And yeah, so I think we might have one or two fishes in there still, but I thought I might get some more. And various pumps and things seem to be working. The patio's been tidied up a bit. Yes, processing of the previous video, which is the early May 2025 in the study, and that looks like the women coming back from a shopping trip on June's white SOS tracker. So I go out, yeah, a bit blurred that they just got, so help with all that heavy work. There's the robot boat, yes, he's nothing much happened on that, so I help them carry one or two bags into the kitchen. There's Samantha going with June, learning how to do things. And what else? Oh, tennis on the television, of course, in the kitchen. What do you expect? Right, back into the lounge, looking at the PC and the trackers. Yeah, shows them at home. And there's the Spot Satcoms tracker. And although it's slower doing updates, the mapping behind it is more up to date. You'll see an example of that. So that's where that was all working. So that's where they parked in the supermarket. Oh yes, Samantha rustled up Robin some scrambled egg on toast with salmon. And June's checking things out in the pond. That's probably before we go off to get some fishes. So it's 2:45 in the afternoon. Temperature's coming up nicely, 20 degrees. And there's Toadie decided to have a drink. So June's driving, of course, and we're off now through the village of Sunninghill, through Cranbourne, rather a bit blurred, get to Oak Tree, and where we're going to is the World of Water. So came away with those fishes. So making our way back, yeah, through Ascot and into Armitage Court and number 22. So put the bag of fishes there so the temperature gets the same as the water. And there's the 4 Candles project coming along. And fingers crossed, he says, things are going to be okay. Oh, filling up the pond. Yes, because it still leaks. But at least it's only down to 2 or 3 inches. And yes, there's a pussycat watching out for things, probably hoping a mouse will appear. Yeah, getting later in the evening, I can tell. Oh yes, looks like the women off for tennis. And yeah, so Samantha and June. And yes, the tracker shows them at the tennis club. And yeah, the contact page has got various trackers on it. I had a bit of a doze. Oh, woken up. Yes, I was working quite hard. And there's Toadie, also relaxing. And yeah, flowers coming up because we've been planting things in that top pond. And oh yes, that's the Spot Satcoms tracker, and the mapping for that is more up to date. So it shows the clay courts as opposed to the tarmac courts with the other tracker. So yeah, so looks like they're on their way back home from the tennis, coming through South Ascot, now just around the corner from us. Should be arriving any moment. Yes, here they come. In fact, there's a time and date stamp down in the bottom. And yeah, and there's the shows us just here. Listening to the Radio 4 News. Time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Tuesday the 13th of May 2025, starting with a summary of the photos shot, including the few shot by June on her smartphone, much better quality than mine. That was around Clevedon. And yeah, so what happened? First thing in the morning, I suppose, yeah, well, quite late after other jobs. Yeah, 20 degrees centigrade, lovely and warm again, and relaxing, thinking about what next in the patio area. And Toadie inspecting the work and also relaxing, and Samantha scrambled egg on toast. But I managed to, one of my fillings came out from years ago. What do you do? And that's what we're thinking about, apart from other shopping, going up to Clevedon. And yes, popped into Chapman's on the way. I got some numerals, which will probably be used for depth gauge in the pond, and materials from Wicks. And yes, into Clevedon. Yeah, interesting conversations with ladies we met there, remember the 60s. And yeah, June's tracker shows she took a slightly different route. I thought I'd do a better route, but yeah, everything was locked. Yeah, so back end of the day, rustle up food. Yeah, closed circuit TV visits from the night from the little foxes. Put the peanuts out. Yeah, June's watching tennis. Yeah, time for bed. So that's the end of the summary. So now into all the photos in the order shot pretty well. And yes, so 20 degrees centigrade, and not a lot of work to do with the pond now, apart from look for any other remaining little leaks. Yeah, mostly tidying up. And yes, that's Toadie's cat fort, or rather pond fort number 2 at the end of the bridge. He quite likes that. And yeah, patio's looking quite tidy now, including the fork handles. And yes, those fish we put in, you don't see much of them. They seem to hide in the plants. Sundial, tidied that up. And one of the many sundials. June's watching the tennis. Toadie's out prowling around. And yes, he likes to take the high ground. That could be a suspect. Yeah, I could get my finger in there. So suspect route for water to get out of the pond. So I ended up stuffing some clay into it and then a little bit of cement over. Yeah, 2 or 3 spots like that. And yes, time for scrambled egg on toast dished up by Samantha. And yeah, then yeah, an old filling came out. Yes. There, what do you do? Put it there for the moment as a conversation piece, I suppose. And listen to the Radio 4 News. And June's relaxing in the garden. And of course, we're thinking about what to do. Yeah, perhaps a trip up to Clevedon. There was an event on, but of course one could go any time because we're members of the National Trust. But yeah, that was the video from early May that was processed and looked good. Yeah, so we're off now on our trip. Decided to get a little bit of shopping on the way, so went into Chapman's and got those metal numerals. And then we're on our route to Wicks at Slough, I think that was. A bit more cement, yes, I'll get through that. And then arrived at Clevedon. Yeah, a bit of blurred picture there, went off by accident. So yeah, find the parking. And yeah, so yeah, the map, there was a excuse me, there was a handout for the map as well, but yeah, picture's a bit blurred. Yeah, so I'm relaxing, having a ice cream cornet, And here's the photos that June took with her smartphone. Yes, it's a few years since I remember us visiting that, including years before with my mum and dad. And because we'd gone into a different entrance, the one I was familiar with. Yeah, grand place. And so those are the photos that June took, and then back to the ones that I took, including one of both of us. So we're back off again and into, yes, the Italian shop, Continental Stores, for, guess it, yes, arancini. Then into Hobbycraft for some clay. That's the stuff which I can stick up into little holes in the pond before putting cement over them. And yeah, back home with Snoopy Sloopy 11, the robot boat. Yeah, check the tracker so that yes, it shows the route up and the route back, including walking around. And yes, and then the Italian shop and back home, just here. Oh, then let's look at June's tracker. Yes, she actually took a different route, and she actually walked around Clevedon House. And yes, then out into the garden and the pond. Looks like it's dropped. Yes, it has dropped, look, 2 or 3 inches. 5 to 7 in the evening, still nice and warm, nudging 20. And yes, it looks like filling up the pond again. And there's Toadie in pond fort number 2 at the end of the bridge. And there's the food for the evening. Take it into Robin's Naughty Corner. Had a look at visits overnight on the closed circuit TV, and there was one of the little baby fox cubs. Put the peanuts out on the top bridge, and there's Toadie. He likes that spot, and perhaps the other thought will be adopted by Lady when she comes down soon. And yes, peanuts at the front near the flatulent fairy and the feeder, and put things back where they were. They're a very untidy room. It's on the list of things to do. Yes, time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. 18th of June until 1st of August 2025. A very rough edit because of all those dates, 6 weeks worth of photo trails. And I'm afraid the voice commentary will be pretty sloppy trying to remember back that far. But Wednesday the 18th of June, a couple of photos of Mandy with her baby and Belle. That's all we got there on that day. And right, Thursday the 26th of June, and it was their wedding anniversary. We went into La Sorrentina. They did us a nice cake. That's all I got on that day by the look of it. Sunday the 29th of June 2025. Probably loads of photographs of all the hard work in the garden, with the pussycat Toadie patrolling around watching what I was doing. So yes, also the idea of putting a smartphone on the boat is a solution for the logger and a few other benefits, like perhaps putting it on WhatsApp. Yeah, looks like we went out and got some compost, and yeah, so we're basically putting in the plants, starting with the pond. Yes, and Monday the 30th of June, and yes, that picture ran the wrong way. Looks like I didn't take much else then. Right, Tuesday the 1st of July, and what we got here? Well, more plants going in, and it looks gradually working down the garden. Yes, hard work of course. Yes, photo taken by accident. And yes, there's the PIR light, there's the gunnerer, and yeah, so clearing up chopping back stuff. And what else? Oh, those looks like plants we'd bought. Decided where to put them. They looked a bit, yeah, having my red bulwark of it. Oh, that looks as though that was in the evening in La Sorrentina, I think. Yes, totally relaxing. And what else? Yes, that was that Aristotle Oasis plate. Finding a place for that, looked good. Yes, we're quite happy with that product. We ended up buying a couple of those. And yeah, so we're still concentrating around the top of the garden, but now working down. Yeah, so yes, gradually putting stuff in alongside the stream. Yes, hard work of course. And looking back at the seat behind the second pond, there's the stream itself. Of course, that third pond, right, it looks like in the evening, that was a glimpse of probably La Sorrentina. So, where are we now? Yeah, oh, June is out there with Samantha doing some work, and looks like Toadie's prowling around. So, yeah, June's got the washing out there. So that's the path down. Looks like I've put turf as a means of binding soil together into the end, because the actual fiberglass pond is a good 6 inches below the soil level. I dug it down, and there's Toadie decided to have a drink, and mine looks like I'll probably put some cement underneath that Aristotle Oasis. That's look like the flame. Probably that was probably in the evening. I don't know, lose track. Yeah, so obviously most of the work from now on is down the end of the garden, and it's getting better than it ever has been. Even though you may not realise it by looking at the pictures. Yeah, more plants. All sorts of things. Of course I use June for the advice on where things go, but I have to do the hard graft. Blend and brew, probably. Yes, that would have been lunch. And yeah, that's the camper. Getting that bit of work on that. That was June leading that. Oh yes, that was lovely. That was we took a run out to see Raj running that. I think it was a half marathon through the park. Lots of good charitable causes involved, and that was absolutely lovely timing. We got there just as he was finishing, so we were able to spend a bit of time, and it included the long walk to the castle. So we enjoyed our time with, yeah, there's Raj. Oh, and whoever that was, probably the mayor, I guess. And that looks like another blend and brew lunch. And there's Toadie overseeing my work, including that Aristotle Oasis along the stream. Yes, what's he checking out now? Checking the plants, I suppose. Yeah, so that's sort of the little details of how the water overflows, and so you see a bit more water and plants before it goes down the stream. Yeah, so that's the top pond. Yes, that's still the top pond. So rearranging odds and ends there to make a little dam so that you've got some water and plants retained just after the overflow. And Toadie taking a hand, of course. Yeah, so down the end of the garden again. Yeah, back up to the top. And Toadie prowling around as he always does. Sometimes you'll rearrange bits and pieces. Yeah, so that's the overflow from the top pond, pond 1. Then going down to the stream, you're starting to see glimpses of those second lot of fork handles down the end. And there's Bentley decided to come over, relaxing near the catforts. And what we got here is top pond at the moment. Oh, that looks like in, yes, the Flame Cafe. And that's in La Sorrentina. Oh yeah, decided that was, yeah, very worn out after years of sunlight making the signs faded, so that was a job to be worked on. And a little background job. Yes, relaxing. That was a present that Samantha got, but it was quite good. Yeah, it looks like those rubber mats are being arranged now for the path around the back of the bog garden, or pond 3. Yeah, got sun coming through. As we cleared up the cut a few branches down, so we've got more sun come through down the end. Yeah, that's the cannabis, I think, or industrial cannabis, or hemp. But quite a nice conversation piece, apart from it being an attractive plant, or plant near the pond. Yeah, so yeah, those June's plant, she doesn't like slugs getting them. Get glimpses of those. I can't always name the plants. Right, so what we got here? Oh, that's the tool that's very useful for cutting those high branches so we get more sky visible. Very, very useful tool. You can either put a saw on the end of the long pole, or clippers with a bit of string to pull them to cut things. It looks like Samantha's out helping, and Lady. So obviously Michelle was staying with us because her cat Lady can be seen. And that's the area where, yes, look, all that has been cut back, those branches off the rhododendron tree, so revealing more sky. And Lady's still relaxing in another cut fort there, I think. And Toadie's come along. What are you up to, Toadie? That's looking down to where June's washing line is, and that's looking up the garden. And of course, over time you see these things improving. Ah, there's Toadie decided to go up on that platform, and I must admit, I made that platform thinking he might choose to do that, and he'd occasionally go up there and look around, look over the fence, and he had a high point. I was coming down to check the stream there. Yeah, so you can see we've got the seats there. I may have cut myself, probably on brambles, I expect. And that's looking down from the roof onto Lady. Looking across, and what am I looking at there? Not sure. But yeah, so down the end now. At this stage, whenever that was, I'm guessing July, we just had a couple of seats, a nice place to sit, but it was later that I decided, for several reasons, to put a cover over those two seats. Mostly because I found pigeons were coming along and sitting on the back of the seat and pooing on the seats. That's what prompted it, but of course there are lots of other benefits. But you'll see that in time, but it's quite a long way through this photo trail, or set of photo trails. Yeah, it's hard work, relax again. That's the old boat seat that we bought years ago, which was a bright idea from June. It was a good idea, but it didn't stay long before it rotted, so we've chosen that to put it at the back of that area. And with time, over the space of quite a few weeks, that was the where a bank the soil goes up, so you just about see the top of it. Anyhow, that is taking shape there, the near the fence, and that's where we're looking down there. Yeah, most of the work has been down in the end. Oh yes, decided to. That's Wallace, I think. Looking up towards the house. That's probably what happens when the bottom pond overflows, running the tap. And of course, if we had a lot of rain, all the roof water is intended to go into the ponds. That's a job outstanding. Right, there's Michelle come down to, well, there was quite a lot of work she got on with, but different jobs. There's Toadie prowling around. Yes, looks like a tennis ball. I probably use, oh look, that is what the pigeons had done. So they came down for food and sat on the seat, and then they make a mess. So that's what prompted me to say, how am I going to stop that happening? So in time you'll see that solution. Right, that's a back there, starting to take shape. Also something for plants to go up. Yeah, it's hard work again. And there's Lady decided to relax in one of those two seats. Right, that looks like foxgloves behind the seats. That was the bowl which I ended up putting that going near the pond. A use for that. We'll see it in time. And right, there's Bentley prowling around, inspecting the work. I suppose you call it quality control. And there's Lady relaxing. June checking things out. There's pigeons arriving for food, because we've already started putting birdseed out. Or I say birdseed, mixture of seeds and dried worms and peanuts. A little character there, I think he goes quite nicely into the stream. And there's, yes, one of the peeing boys, and I'm thinking now, that bowl would be quite a good thing for him to, well, you basically circulate the water. So that was a bright idea, and that's been a little job on the side for months now, but not spending a lot of time on it. But then you see, perhaps we can do it better that way. Right, it looks like we're at that key stage of having made, yes, there's, I think, a roof taking shape. But that's sort of still planting stuff around the bottom of the seat. But yes, you can see there, I've put some posts in and I've made a roof. It's transparent, so you can still see up, but it does its purpose. So if the pigeons are going to sit anywhere, they don't sit on the seats generally. There he is. Yeah, I got more than one of those, and yes, I saw those, got them on eBay, and it was reminding my early business trips to NATO headquarters in Brussels, and that little weeing boy is quite an important landmark there. Yeah, I'm probably thinking of other solutions of but I didn't make any progress on that. Ah, right, now Michelle has decided June wanted that old avocado sink removed and replaced by a white one, smaller one. Anyhow, took a while to do the job, but well done. Looks as like I made a bit of progress on the little weeing boy number 1, we call that, because we've got several of them, and it's a question of takes time to get the electrics working for the pump, and of course the plumbing for the water flow, and then you've got little details like the water tends to splash out and you lose water from the bowl, but that's very slow process goes on in the background. Right, that now the heap is starting to take shape in front of the boat, or I call it the boat, it's an old boat seat, and there's Lady, Michelle's pussycat, and there's Michelle working on that. So the first job is she's got to sort out the plumbing, obviously order the right bits and take the old sink out, and there she's put the new one in. So that was the end of that day. Saturday the 2nd of August 2025. Yes, work in the garden, including the peeing boy number 1, still fiddling around with that, and June checking things out. Of course she gives most of the advice on whatever goes in the garden, and well, didn't shoot much on that day. I noticed these delays I've put in for the photos aren't what they normally are. Sunday the 3rd of August 2025, I think that should have been. And yeah, so yeah, there's very slow delays, aren't they? That should only be a couple of seconds. Anyhow, it's coming along, and that's the same. That was all shot on that day. Monday the 4th of August 2025. So, because a lot of other things are going on in the background apart from what's illustrated by these photos. Right, that's all on that day. The good news is there's more interesting stuff later, not particularly that. That was a trip to Oak Tree to get some plants, and that was important. That was the hawthorn tree to replace the one that had died, probably because of competition from rhododendrons, not enough moisture, and so we've sorted that, I think, and that's in place. And of course hawthorn trees provide protection for the birds. We had 2 in that corner already, but that's the 3rd one. So that was that day. And what's next? Wednesday the 6th of August. Yeah, still messing around. Doesn't spend a lot of time on it, but you try and stop that peeing boy peeing over the side. Yes, hello June. Yeah, stuff is coming along nicely. That's the heap of soil building up to provide a slope against the boat seat. Yeah, looking good. And what's the next time? Thursday the 7th of August 2025. And yes, yeah, I can't remember what she calls those plants, but they're getting well chewed up, so the solution might be to have saucers of beer that slugs. I thought it might have been slugs, but in fact we didn't see many slugs there, so it was probably some insect eating them. And you find slugs in other places, but not so many down there. So what's next? Oh yes, that was the deck rail I bought, and Friday the 8th of August 2025 I varnished it. Well, it was basically banister material, so that's the material I use, like the varnish, and of course that was to protect them from the weather. They ended up being painted white, you'll see later. There's a squirrel while I was sat there coming for the peanuts on one of the bird feeders. That's the end of that day. Sunday the 10th of August 2025. yeah, so that shows the water coming down the stream and little puddles in it, coming along nicely. And Toadie prowling around, probably on the lookout for poor little mice or birdies. Yes, and yes, that was when we went out to a cafe, the garden centre I think, and yes, of course the pigeons come to the food on the table, they're used to it, and I've noticed that started to happen. So those are some of the plants we came back with, and of course yeah, keeping an eye on what's happening, wondering what to do about those. Monday the 11th of August 2025, yeah, that's the mosquito zapper, whatever you call it, and relaxing of course, thinking about what to do next and having bright ideas. So that's coming on as it should. And yeah, blank screen there, what was that about? Oh dear. Oh, okay, Tuesday the 12th of August 2025. Ah, look, there's a moth, and so that was what we decided. Yes, we need something so that moths can't get through to be electrocuted. That was a dragonfly, I think, coming down to lay eggs on the bridge. And all these little activities are going on in parallel. You get a bright idea and give it a try. That's the end of that photo trail. Now Thursday the 14th of August 2025. Yeah, so the, oh yeah, half-eaten mouse. Oh, is that a bird? It's a bird. Oh dear. Yes, I suspect that was Toadie. So what's next? Michelle's coming out to help by the look of it. Oh yes, Michelle working with June. That was good. The plants surrounded by the sundial inside there, and that's Toadie hiding in that top of that cat fort. Saturday the 16th of August 2025. Yeah, that got that wrong in terms of the orientation, but that looks like bulbs that we bought, and deciding where they're going to go, and because we've got a much wider area where bulbs like bluebells and well, lots of things can be planted. So Sunday the 17th of August, this includes the Amra picnic, but we start with the little photos of a robin a few yards from where I was sat, coming down the stream. Might come down for a bathe in the water. And here's the photos taken at the Amra picnic on the amenity area. Yes, absolutely lovely event that was. Didn't take many, but there you go. Yes, very enjoyable, and the weather was good. And that was later in the evening where the lights are coming on. See Toadie's prowling around. Yes, he's checking out that platform. I did make it with him in mind. So that's the end of that day. Monday the 18th of August, Michelle and June's camper trip. Yes, they decided to take a few days down on the south coast. And so these are the photos I shot as they were leaving. They went down to, yeah, there's Michelle pretending to drive. Of course, June was doing the driving. And yes, there's some mementos from our trip that June and I made a couple of years before, I think. Yeah, so they're off, and Samantha and I are back at the house. So that's where they were going. Yes, not a long trip. And of course, with that tracker of June, we can see that they're getting down there okay and not hitting problems. There's Lady, Michelle's pussycat, and there's Toadie. They seem to get on okay. That is probably the cannabis, industrial cannabis or hemp East Fleet, that was it, East Fleet Farm, lovely place. June and I had gone a couple of years before, and of course there's lovely places within a short walking distance. Check out the Spot Satcoms tracker as well. Right, next day, Tuesday the 19th of August, with Michelle's cat Lady. Yeah, she's quite enjoys her garden. Not sure whether she enjoys Toadie, but I think they get on with each other. Toadie comes and sits with me quite often, probably for the wrong reasons. He wants to jump out and catch a mouse or a bird. Oh yes, that's the boy number 1. Yes, how I'm going to stop him weeing too far and hitting the person in the next chair. The orientation of that wasn't too good. So you're coming up with bright ideas how you can stop that. There's Lady. And yes, Lady's looking at it. That's the end of that day. Wednesday the 20th of August. Bit fuzzy, that photo. And looks like it wasn't much more than me having a meal in the flame kebab in the village. Yeah, that's all photos I took then. So Thursday the 21st of August 2025. Of course, most of the activities associated with garden. Now there's the banister in place. Yeah, a bit of cement to help hold it solid. Oh, that's a puzzle that Terry set at pub lunch. Yeah, quite clever puzzles really. Schoolboy arithmetic, but not easy to do. I say arithmetic, no, it's trigonometry and things. There's Lady, found another place to relax. Ah, looks like that's the girls coming back from their camper trip. Michelle and June. Yes, they enjoyed that. And there's Bentley come over, say hello. He tends to be a bit careful these days. So what's next? Friday the 22nd of August 2025. Oh yes, I've tidied up that whatever you call it, the sign at the front. It was a bit faded. And yeah, so around the garden, yes, that's painted white. The banisters, well, banister. It's getting quite a nice place to sit and relax now. Of course, the only time I sit and relax there is when I'm checking out work and deciding what to do next. Yeah, there's another solution. Oh yes, one of the activities is the power for the little weeing boy, and it's all down to the fact it's got a 12-volt motor, but it will run at lower voltage, and you want something that will just keep going, and we eventually sorted that out. But there was quite a lot of experiments with different solutions before we settled on the one, which was basically a 12-volt car battery with a battery charger connected. But there's lots of things that can stop it working. Yeah, still trying to find solutions so it doesn't wee too far. What's next? Oh yes, Saturday the 23rd of August 2025, and the Royal Egham Show and the Spitfire. Yeah, so those photos appear in there. So, right, so that was their visit there, and there's a sign which, if you see it, you can read the details. But basically, that sign there says, "Oh, pay them a £5, and they'll take some photographs with your smartphone," which is what most people use, and the money goes to work on the aircraft. Basically, it's not flyable; they have to bring it there. But anyway, it was a lovely event. So we had a look round and at other things, including, I think we might have had a snack, and there was, yes, the stunt riders. Yes, and that's it. We had some food off one of the vans. Right, and oh yes, that's what I've been messing around with, like 2 6-volt batteries in series from a 12-volt charger, and tapping on one of them lots of messing about till we ended up with the best solution. Sunday the 24th of August 2025. Yes, that mosquito zapper was one of the things, and seeing, oh yeah, a load of moths being caught on it, and that's what I don't want happening. I want just the mosquitoes. So one of the things is being able to put a mesh or something over the front of it. Yeah, it looks like it was coming up to midday, so looking at the direction of the shadow on the sundial, and yeah, a bit of a repair work. I think that's been there for a while. Yeah, I found that switching it off and then the hose was a good way of cleaning out the insects. And there's a possibility for the mesh, some old fishing net. Yeah, June's working on the garden, and there's some other stuff I found, and I can say now that it didn't seem to allow any mosquitoes in even, but yeah, relaxing I can see, and deciding what hard work to do next. So Michelle's out playing with Toadie, but also helping June with putting the plants she wants into that central bit of garden around the sundial. Yeah, so I think that's mostly mint. So right, now the next day, and Monday the 25th of August 2025. So probably doing a little bit of work on those letters using cement rather than glue to hold the numbers on, and yeah, and probably filling in between some of the cracks as well. And yeah, of course this is the area where most of the work's done, because it's a nice area to relax that's opened up in the back of the garden, including Toadie. Yes, he quite likes relaxing there as well. Trouble is, oh yes, that's yes, there's a nice sign, hemp. Yes, there's a little boy number 2 being checked out. Right, that's on to the next day, Tuesday the 26th of August 2025. Yeah, work continues, and of course every now and again June finds plants that she says, well, I don't need them there, and I can find a place to put them. So Iris was a good example. Go down by side the stream in the bog garden area. And right, now on to the next day. Yes, Wednesday the 27th of August 2025, and that is the left-hand extension to the compost heap, and I quite like that kind of open arrangement. So yes, it's gradually taking shape, and there's the area behind the seats that is being cleared, ready to put bulbs in. Now that's getting rather full up, as you can see, over full, and yes, that didn't seem to work very well. Hardly anything got in there. Yeah, so June's busy with that. So anyhow, the new bit I put on there was somewhere for them to put the cuttings. Right, Thursday the 28th of August, and Michelle's putting in the new television in the camper, because apparently there have been problems with the old TV. Lots of reasons for that. And that was Lady prowling around, Michelle's pussycat. Yeah, still messing around with that little peeing boy number 1. And yeah, looking at the direction of the shadow of the sundial. There's Toadie relaxing. He's got something on him, I think a bit of leaf or something. Yeah, so that's probably bird feed sacks and things. And yes, basically wondering what to do in that area. Yes. Oh, that was something surplus to requirements. Haven't got a use for that, so we thought somebody might be interested in it. It's a little waterfall feature, and there's some more cupboards. Shifting them around, they're typically furniture that I get from somewhere like Forces Support in Wokingham. Oh yeah, something we picked up, impulse buy, cheap bit of decoration. Yeah, totally relaxing. Yes, I thought what happens is, of course, you move stuff around and you think, oh, better place for it. So I found a place for that African style mask. And there's lady watching what we're doing. Yes, that old bit of cast iron pipe, I put it as a mouse hide years ago, and of course in cutting the weeds back and overgrown vegetation, June uncovers things like that. Anyway, we've got a place for those cuttings. Looks like June's relaxing a bit. That's the end of that day. Next one is Friday the 29th of August 2025. Yeah, so one of the things was making sure you know how to switch it on and off. It's a 3-position switch, and it wasn't easy to see, especially as it got dark. Right, so that seems a good place for the latest cupboards we had, including new ones, even though they're very cheap. And yeah, this is the top pond on the, just outside the back. Yeah, so right, what's that we're looking at? Oh, I don't know. Oh yes, yes, it was a thunderstorm, and there was a website, and it would predict. Well, it would monitor the. So you didn't only see the heavy rain coming through, but you also, it showed when there was a flash and when the sound would reach you. I think it's 6 seconds a mile or something. Oh, there's Lady, and there's Toady. Oh, there's the bat detector I found that we had tucked away, and that's something to be kept easily down the end. Saturday the 30th of August 2025. Yes, there's some moths again have got into there. Annoying that. There's Toady prowling about, and there's a bird. Looks like Toady probably got that. Right, looks like we're off somewhere. Where are we off to? Oh, yes. Michelle's off to go back to Coventry. So she gets on the train. Then back home doing hard work. Right, so that looks like a place open probably for the NGS, is it? The Millhouse French. Yes, it was a lovely place to visit. We hadn't been there before. We know French and Ponds, so a really interesting place that was, including the Archimedes screw, which was probably once used to lift water and now is being used to generate electricity, I think. Yeah, marvellous. And then back home, still messing around with those things every few minutes of work. Sometimes pays off. Sunday the 31st of August 2025. Yes, totally relaxing. Yeah, the seats. And yeah, they're watching tennis just for a change. And there's Bentley come over. He tends to be a bit cautious coming over. He usually comes over for a meal. And trouble is, Toady likes play fighting too much. That's up on the top floor where the roof is. You go out onto the roof. And very untidy. Look at all that. Mostly women's clothes, I think. And yes, I'm not quite sure what I was doing there. Probably putting things in the right place. Yes. That's it. That's the workshop area. That's it. I just managed to put up a bit more arrangement for hanging tools up. I think you haven't gone through the process of thoroughly finding tools and putting them in the right place, but of course some tools are useful to have down the end of the garden. Since we've got most tools, we've got more than one of them, quite a few of them, we can afford to have some within a few yards of where you're working, rather than have to walk all the way up the garden or even into the house. Right, so that's the bridge, and that bright idea was to have a water butt there, and that water butt that we bought ended up being changed for something completely different. But right, June's watching tennis, so I think we're looking at the drainage from the second pond down into the stream and into the bog garden. Yeah, not quite sure about those orientation wrong. And yeah, a lot of messing around here, the experimenting with these solar powered things. And yes, this is making a neater job, or more better engineered job, of the drainage from the second pond into the water butt. Wednesday the 10th of September 2025. Yes, that's Toadie relaxing and watching what's going on, particularly June giving Robin advice on where you can stick things, mostly plants. That's rather nice, she found that. And yes, continued work on that thing. And there's, yes, Toadie watching, and she said, the mints can go there, and they can go into the pond in the water, even though the water comes up very high. And yeah, so what else? Yeah, Toadie of course watching. And yeah, popped round to Paul's. Didn't catch him, he was in the garden actually, but not to worry. And we've got some good stuff on the way back, including bits and pieces, including those PIR solar lights. So they're not PIR ones, those are they just come on tonight. Very good. And so I put one up on Robin's corner, and yeah, and one has already been used there for some time. And yeah, improvising a solution to stop the water from coming out from the little peeing boy, and put some down the end of the garden. So the idea is, as it gets dark, lights come on, and easier to see walking around. And yeah, they're eating there, and I go down to the flame. So that's the end of the photo trail. Friday the 12th of September 2025. Lots happened that day, but not many photos taken. That was at the end of the day at the Flame Cafe, and work in the garden on making the compost walls higher. And yeah, it was coming along nicely. And that was the, yes, little getting that peeing boy not to pee over the sides. Yeah, so we got back, June and Robin, from getting wood, and that was used for the third compost heap, working from right to left, and that came on. And also we came back with plants, including a little palm tree, and I found the right place for that. And yeah, more work needed, but not bad. And then dinner in the Flame Cafe, interesting conversation in the Comrades Club, back home, and that's the end of the photo trail. Saturday the 13th of September 2025. Lots of good progress made that day, mostly in the garden. And yes, so there's the rocks we've got back from Longacre to go around the palm tree. There's Toadie inspecting the work. And yes, so those rocks needed to be rearranged. Did that. And Samantha was helping as well, watched by Toadie of course. And basically we were cutting stuff back and putting it on the pile. June got the bulbs out and sorted them out. Oh yes, also some the bird seeds, so I put those in the right place. That's the tool that I use to make holes, and Samantha could then pop the bulbs into the hole. And so we did all that bit behind the seats. And yes, a bit of a rain shower, so I shouted under the gunra. And there's Toadie. Yeah, had a lunch break. Samantha rustled up scrambled egg on toast. And then, when the rain had stopped, we went out. Oh yes, bit of improvisation, finding a better solution, so boy number 1 doesn't actually pee over the side. And yeah, carry on the work. And I helped Samantha with the work. That was, yes, around that bit I was doing. But I was helping her cut in the rhododendron and stuff back, and that's where I had a fall and caught my foot in that suspect bit of work I hadn't done a proper job on, so that had to be fixed, and it wasn't too long to do that, so it was good and solid. Painted it, yes, that should be okay. And yeah, work continues. Oh yeah, the peanut feeders, I topped them up first thing in the morning, but practically all of them had well, most of the peanuts are gone. Well, not just peanuts, bird feed. There's 5 of them down the end there, so they're getting quite popular with the birds. Yes, a bit more improvisation, getting that right. And June showed us how to switch on the central heating, which she normally keeps switched off during the summer. And yeah, the radiators came on because it was rather cold before. It was down at 16, and that's how you adjust the temperature. June suggested 20. Made sure Samantha knew as well. I think she probably already knew. So that's the end of the photo trail. Sunday the 14th of September 2025. Main event, of course, was the trip up near Northampton for a family get-together. Lovely meal that was at lunch, and yeah, that was the menu. And this is just a summary of the photos. And then back end of the day, yes, Brian May and La Sorrentina, forced myself to have a little something, and popped into the Comrades Club, and yes, back there, and Toadie relaxing. So these are the photos in the order shot. And yeah, first a few snaps down the end of the garden, including, yes, Toadie keeping an eye for mice. And yeah, going around. Yeah, bird feeders need to be topped up, and that's where we keep the bird food. So 5 bird feeders to be topped up, and of course overnight it's well, not overnight, but in the course of the day, most of it's gone. There's the area that has got bulbs planted in now from the day before, and yeah, so much of the work is done down at the end of the garden. There's lots of little things to be done, but mostly up. Yes, like the peeing boys. And yes, there's the time, so I think we decided we had to get off at a reasonable time in order to pick up Michelle from Northampton station. And yes, it was a baby shower for Becky's second baby coming along. So we're getting ready to go, and Toadie's going to guard the property, of course. I'm going to sit in the front. Yeah, so we're off, and yeah, down through the middle of Sunninghill. Yes, and of course there was rain showers, and we've seen on the radar what to expect, but so we were prepared for the worst, but it wasn't too bad. So now making our way out towards the A30, past the ruins, Virginia Water. Yes, June's got the Google Maps on. I keeping my smartphone charged. And right, so we're now coming up probably the M25, and yeah, I'll add the graffiti when you see it. Right, this is the first stop at the railway station at Northampton to pick up Michelle, and yes, I was able to pop upstairs and relax there rather than wait in the car, and then I popped across the bridge and checked out the area that we'd done on the previous visit, and yeah, and got back in plenty of time for Michelle to be arriving. And yeah, so she's in the car and we're now off to the get together, the party, or whatever you like to call it, the dinner, lunch that was. So guiding our way there. Wasn't too bad with the weather, it's just sort of showers coming through, but you got to expect things. So we're getting there, and of course taking photos, not sure what's going to happen next. Right, the Sunninghill Hotel, so we've got there. Yeah, parking was easy, yes, and lovely place, first time we'd been there, but apparently Sally and David, I like that, that mischievous Jeremy Clarkson. Yes, so a few photos. Some people don't like these photos taken, realising they're I don't usually take photos unless I'm happy that they could be public, which isn't the same as publicity. Look, great big meal. In fact, what Robin had was a child snack. This is what the others were eating, and that's mine. I think they put a few more on there than you would give a child, but that suited me nicely. Absolutely lovely place, and there's the menu if you want to check things. Yes. So look, it was belting down with rain when it was time for us to leave, and yeah, so dropped Michelle off at the station, railway station that is. Yeah, a phone call came in from Alexander, and yes, no problem on the road there, but yes, so of course as we drive, so it's getting darker. No major problems as it turned out, which we could have had. Yeah, coming through Sunninghill now. Yes, bit blurred some of the pictures, but much better quality. And we've arrived home at 22 Armitage Court. Yes, dustbins, and yeah, that was a ring camera being triggered. There's Toadie decided to come in and eat. Bit damp he was. And then I probably looked at where we'd been. Yeah, there's the tracker showing the position now, and there is where we went, including a bit of a journey around places like Northampton, especially when the Google Maps wasn't quite what we expected, or there were roadworks or whatever. Anyhow, that is lots of scatter on the Sunninghill Hotel, which was near Sunninghill Hall, and yeah, absolutely lovely place. Yeah, so we enjoyed that, and interesting people. And there's Toadie now relaxing late evening while June watches last of the proms, including the performance by Queen, including the original Brian May, who only lives around the corner from us. And so we enjoyed that. And then I forced myself, I thought I better go down to the village to eat. I wasn't sure where I'd be eating. Might have been La Sorrentina, or it might have been the Flame, so past the Commerce Club, La Sorrentina, and that's where I ended up being. I missed all the rush, which was excellent. So I just kept myself to a wine and a cheesecake and a few words with the family. And then over to the Comrades Club, spent a few minutes there, and then back home, gradually getting there. And yes, back to 22 Armitage Court, and the robot boat outside, and yeah, anybody could see where I was, or where the tracker was, coming up to 10 o'clock. And yes, Toadie's decided to sleep or relax in that cardboard box. Yes, so time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Yes, very windy. This has been shot in middle of September. Right, we're going to end on material that was filmed a little while ago. There's Samantha. And yeah, there's the kitchen. Yes. Yeah, that work was done, oh, a little while ago now, but was definitely an improvement. The so-called temporary mirrors and the skylights. I'm now going into material that was probably a couple of years ago shot, which is on the subject of global warming and my experiences with the DVLA. And I think that material started about here. Now, what I put on the screen, because global warming is rare in itself, it's something that's been on my grumpy page for years. The remarkable James Lovelock, who passed away on the 26th of July, his 103rd birthday. I'll read out what this says here. This has been on the grumpy page for years, not long after the publication of his book, Revenge of Gaia. We can't stop global warming, but we may delay it by a few decades to give us time to prepare for its effects. Vast areas of the world, including as close as continental Europe, becoming arid desert, shrinking of habitable areas of the planet to much smaller parts of the planet, closer to the poles. The Earth will then only be able to support a small fraction of its present population, and there will be a need for massive migration. Places like the UK will remain temperate a little longer, so be an attractive destination. We need all world governments to cooperate to prepare for this inevitability. Also to agree things like reduce use of fossil fuels, to give us a few more decades to prepare. And then it goes on. The above is not a quote, but how I remember what James Lovelock said in his book, The Revenge of Gaia, etc. That's been unchanged on my site for years. And right, well, the other thing I should mention, yes, retired, happy and spending that kid's inheritance, is for some time now I've not been able to drive due to, well, several mistakes at the DVLA. And what I will say is that I have new evidence of what happened inside the DVLA, which I won't publish yet, because I'm still waiting for the reply to the letter which was delivered by recorded delivery to the head of the DVLA and also other people. So I'll put in at the end of this long video the video that's gone up, me talking about the DVLA, and basically in summary it says I don't want anybody to get into trouble, and that is definitely the case, and resigning is too easy. Problems need to be fixed. But quite honestly, that is a minor thing compared with all the other things that are going on in the world, not least wars, and of course what's in the background and very important is global warming. So let's run into that. Back in 2012.
Seen the launch of a transatlantic sailing attempt this morning in a model boat. Retired NATO scientist Robin Lovelock launched his Snoop loop from Barton-on-Sea towards the Bahamas. It's already been tested over 5,000 miles on a lake in Berkshire. The model will be steered and tracked through a satellite system and by Snoopy, of course, and it should make the crossing in 6 months, if it survives, that is.
The most important thing of the lot, of course, is Snoopy the Viking, the skipper. I don't think he'd make it otherwise. We've also got another bit and piece here. This is a GPS logger that logs the position every 15 minutes.
That was back in 2012. The guy that put this material together, including live broadcast and what went up on the BBC website, is Ben Moore.
I just worried for Snoopy. Sport now and Hampshire.
Right, on to the next topic. Right. Now, I'm going to do this all in one take. all unrehearsed and unscripted, so sorry about that. What I'd like to happen, if anybody picks up on the DVLA story, is, as I say, nobody getting into trouble, and that's a genuine request, but when they find flaws in procedures where they don't cover certain things, be good if those are fixed. What I think would be useful for anybody looking at the DVLA and perhaps helping them is, first of all, their organisation chart showing the structure. Yes, it's well known who the head of the DVLA, remarkable woman, looking at her CV, and relevant to this story is the head of the health part. But it would be very useful to see, even if names aren't attached, obviously the names can be attached where they're public already, is how many people in each branch, how many people are reporting to how many. So a simple tree would help. I suggest that first of all. Then, perhaps even more important, is how many people working for the DVLA, even if you don't identify the individuals, are salaried by the DVLA excuse me, directly, as opposed to contracted through an agency or a business. That is very important, and we've seen what's been happening in places like the NHS for years. So that comes into the equation in terms of whether money is well spent, and of course the DVLA collects a lot of money, and there are probably other things as well, but as a starting point, I'd hope anybody that responds to this, I can't afford to get overloaded, we've got other things to do, many other things to do, and we'll be taking a holiday, that'll be public, yes. I'm tracked everywhere by different things, and in fact, if anybody's paranoid about it, anybody who's tracking somebody or looking at somebody's probably seen already. But at the end of the day, there's me wittering on, which is one of my main weaknesses since I was a little child. That's why if you put things up, clearly be careful what you put up, and often it can do some good. I'm now in the kitchen, and June's rustling up some food in the microwave for Samantha, and here's Samantha, and of course there's tennis on the television, just for a change. So, oh yes, point out, holidays in we're going off to Sicily again soon, and into the hall. Yes, nice expensive paintings here. Yep, expensive little pocket camera, not expensive. And through into the lounge and out to wrap up. So it only remains to say, look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy what days we have.